Uh, where are you at?
I'm in Ojai. I'm about an hour north of LA.
I have, and it's so funny, I just took it off. I have like the same
Oh, that, yeah.
necklace.
Uh-huh.
Wow. I just love it. I don't even know why I didn't put it on today.
Yeah.
I had taken it off at my computer and it was just sitting right here. So you're taking care of
exactly.
it.
We've got it covered.
We've got it covered, right? The law of conservation of similar necklaces.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, girls got to be girls,
That's right. We have to have our own style because, otherwise, if I had it on, then we would really end up in People magazine, who wore it best, and then it would be,
exactly.
But I do like you had a nice bit of red to go with your orange amber stones.
Yeah.
And I think we would have been tied.
Yes, exactly.
You use the area of and the art form of sketching to help people figure out things, get things out of their head, get them on paper, whether it's planning, a work situation, a life situation. And because I looked at some of your paintings and you're quite the artist. And, but you're also this like super powerhouse businesswoman, and the way you've combined this area of your art and your sketching to helping in the business world, it's pretty clever.
Yeah, it's my calling, and it took me from years and years of being a creative director for big ad agencies, and I was just naturally put in charge of new business. I was the pitch person on the creative side.
Show off a bit of some of your credits.
Oh, I worked with, I consulted in LA most recently with folks like Chiat Day and DDB and, all the McCann Ericksons and the Ogilvies and the Ogilvy Ones and things like that. And in the East, I worked as a creative director for Ingalls and Quinn & Johnson and BBD&O and Emerson Lane Fortuna, all those people. And so I came back to the left coast. And it was really interesting because I just started consulting and doing my own thing with my own clients. So then I started doing purpose coaching. And I found that by drawing out the core essence of brands and business, I was a brand expert and still am. But when you go inside the brand and look from the inside out, you start affecting all the people around you. And I was known for TV campaigns and storyboard sketching for TV campaigns for Japanese clients like Hakahodo and Dentsu. And I would be pulled as the American team to do a lot of launches for automobiles and also for major brands like Bridgestone and Budweiser and all the big brands, Mercedes. And it was just all visuals because they communicate visually and they don't really use many words because they get hamstrung by the words because they have they can't say no culture to creativity. And so they live in visuals. It's all the anime. So I became pretty well known for my storyboarding. And then I changed the storyboarding into part of my coaching and doing quick sketch for meetings and ideations and all sorts of neat things. So that's what happened in my career. It sort of was a natural evolution of what I really love to do, and that was doing these quick sketch black and white storyboards to focus down the concepts of what was really going on and what needed to be communicated in little sound bites in 15 and 30 and 60-second spots. So that's how I became what I am, because I would always find the truth and the core essence of a brand. And so I started doing it for people. And I just do it. That's just what I do. And so this has kind of been a natural evolution.
And it's great how you've used, your skill and profession in especially the commercial world, which was always very fast and really bite-sized nuggets of information. And it really trained you to an era where we need to have the whole story in 7 seconds. Like that's the attention span. And to tell a story in 7 to 15 seconds is really a valuable skill for someone and for someone building their brand. what kind of suggestion would you give someone if they were trying to work out, how can someone employ on their own sketching out stuff, and as opposed to sitting, thinking, and writing words? What is the benefit of doing something more visual? So it's more about like physical takeaways of like, oh yeah, like you're right. I always try and do things on little Post-its, but maybe if I did a bigger paper and put it in a place that I couldn't not look at it, and or just some little thing that in the area of sketching, whether it's different color pens, whether it's go out and buy paper, do it, and don't worry if it's not perfect because you're going to throw it away anyway. And then someone will be like, oh, but I can't throw it away. But someone like you saying, it's okay to throw it away, but it's not okay to not do it at all, Okay,
the real textural parts of it is that everybody's an artist, right? Yeah. And so just take a deep breath, and the stuff flows from your heart to your hands. And what I would do is tell people to buy a sketch journal, any size, larger than a telephone, remembrance pad, but, maybe like a 6x9 sketch journal. And when they go out to observe, or even if they're at their desks, do a daily sketch. Think of one word that you have a purposeful intent to focus on during the day. Just one word. Write the word down, and just have a free flow of, put a pen in your hand, draw little stick figures. You can write, you can draw leaves, you can draw anything, because when you put that intent and the purpose into your drawing, the ordinary becomes extraordinary, because you just start drawing your thoughts and you let yourself observe your thinking rather than analyzing your thinking before you draw. Like, I have to draw a perfect lick. Okay, if my intent today is to go hiking, I have to draw the whole hike out, or I have to be perfect. I have to go take pictures. No. When you're out there, take up a pen, a pencil, a stick, anything, and just draw simple forms, and then draw the meaning or the purpose of that form. And by drawing the meaning of that form, or even writing it down, combine words and drawings, and you'll find some pretty amazing things happening every day. And keep that sketch journal going for at least 30 days. And see how your intent and your purpose repeats itself. And that could have big delivery aspects of you finding out, where you're in flow and when you're not in flow. Because some days are not going to be all that great. It's a yin and the yang of things. So in terms of color, I tell people to buy just a crayon pack. When I'm coaching, I will sometimes just say, stop. You've got to take out what I've sent you. I'll send a line PDF, print it out. Well, I ask them to print them out, get your crayons, and while you're talking, you're going to be coloring. Because when you color and talk at the same time and try and formulate, there's a barrier that gets taken down when you're coloring. You let your heart comes out because your mind doesn't trap it.
And what are they usually coloring? Are they coloring things that they have drawn, or is it just sort of these newfangled doodle books that are very popular?
I usually send out when I'm working with people and they're kind of stuck and they're scripting it rather than speaking it and feeling it. Mm-hmm. I will send them specific line drawings that I find intuitively, like some of them will just have shapes of swirls on them. Some of them will be all the fish going in one direction and one fish going that direction. Mm-hmm. And just to so I just send them line, or I give them the option, buy a coloring book that you like. And we're going to just sit and you're going to color and I'm going to talk with you and you're going to talk back. And then they go from the coloring book or the thing that I gave them, they graduate and then, I need to go find a sketch journal. I said, that's right. And so it goes into the sketch journal. But, they all of a sudden you get this flash of inspiration. And if you don't have a pen and you're not writing it down or drawing it down, it goes. Mm-hmm. And when you have a sketch pad handy and you're putting, what is the purpose? What is the purpose of this drawing that I'm doing? And then all of a sudden, the purpose sparks goes, oh, I'm ready to get the heart talking here. And when you mention purpose and intent, as you draw or as you go out and observe, I tell people to take a walk in nature or even down the city block. Mm-hmm. And what is it that tweaks their curiosity? What is ordinary that you can make into an extraordinary experience? Mm-hmm. And you make it extraordinary by drawing it out or talking about it and having somebody else draw it out and show it to you. A lot of times just seeing that visual, I mean, if you've got a good friend, go walking and start talking, and then each one of you draw out what the other person's experience is and exchange it.
Right. Now, how could, this area of drawing, how could a parent use this with their kids? If their kid is going through, let's say, something difficult in school or with another person, what would be an example that they could, how they could help their kid with drawing?
I think that if you have a child or even a friend that is going through something, especially a child, they have a hard time forming words about things. And I would just sit down and say, hey, we're going to have a coloring time. We're just going to play. Mm-hmm. I would put it into a play format, mm-hmm. and I would put out all the crayons and maybe get a big piece of white paper to go across the table, mm-hmm. and maybe have a snack there, some little goodie. And you start out and you draw the goodie. It says, well, look, we're going to have a treat. Can you draw it out?
I like
and
that.
And then they draw out the treat. And I said, well, what else do you like?
Yeah.
Can you draw out something else you like?
That's a great gradient, because you're not making them go in and think about something.
Yes.
The treat's right there, they're gummy vitamins, or it's a piece of string cheese. They can see it. They don't have to think. And yet it gets them right into creating.
Exactly. Because in order to find the issue that they're stuck with or hurt by, mm-hmm. you really need to get them into the present moment. And you need to get into the present moment, because you're thinking clear out there, like, how can I solve this issue?
That's
what
right.
happened back there? So you're both in the present moment. And so once you start drawing that present goodie moment, and then just sort of ease into it and said, well, think of 3 good things. Can you draw it out? Think of one not so great thing that you've been through. And can you draw that out? And sometimes it just all pours out from people. Mm-hmm. And so that's my approach with things. Always start in the present moment with something very positive, what you really love. It's anchored in what you love,
That's right. Because then you start the whole process. You get the best of the person, the most effective part of them show up to the plate,
Exactly.
Sitting here and I'm thinking, gosh, I have a lot of editing I have to do today, right? And I'm like, okay, I have editing to do. And so I'm like, okay, here I'm sitting, here's my computer, and I have all these little stories, and I have to just start with one. Okay, get the first one done. And if I get the first one done, I'll make my fun little coffee drink. And then if I get the second one done, see, I didn't even think that I can give myself a reward. If I get the second one done, I can make my husband these gluten-free cupcakes that I haven't been making, but I really want to make them because I want to try one. So if I get the second one done, and then I need to get 3 of them done. That might be a tall order. But then at the end of it, then what do I have? I have a whole bunch of happy people who are, happy and feel like maybe they can improve, something in their life, and it's sunnier. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's certainly better to do that than for me to just sit and think, I have so much editing I have to do.
Yeah.
That just sort of lightens it up a bit.
It does. And it really puts joy into the process. Yeah, you've given yourself a treat, and you've given yourself a positive outcome and a reward. Yeah. And you're good.
Thank you. Good. Oh.
Yeah.
You know, I'm taking one for the team. I just wanted people to see, look, you can start as messy and as silly and as micro as that. And yet that's all our life really is. It's about a bunch of little micro moments, you know?
Yeah. And if people can see what you've just shown really is something that people struggle with. They don't give themselves their own stepping stones. And by drawing it out, I mean, I've told people, many people, to say, you know, get out a piece of paper, get out a pen. We're going to draw a path. And on that path, there are, you know, stones, flat stones, pavers. So we're going to label them what you need to do, because I think in today's world, we're all so swamped with so many things to do all at once. Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, multitasking is stressful. And so if you break down this,
like a badge, we do. We're like, I can multitask, you know, and then you look at your hormone level and it's shot, you know, and
the blood pressure goes up.
Yes.
Yeah. And you're a mess and you can't breathe anymore. Right. And then by thinking it through, you just get more and more invisible and stuck.
Not to say that we shouldn't be super busy, because you know,
exactly.
we are happiest when we're busy, but these are just little hacks of bringing some ease and efficiency to all those tasks.
Yes. And it's like, I've had this symbol come by my being the last week, and it's a bee. And think about how bees do things. If you really observe them, they're very tactical. They do one thing at a time. They have a structure and they're very determined, and they do it over and over and over again until they build something beautiful, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you're in your being, in who you are, who you be, then you become that focus. And then all this stuff just drops to the side. And by actually drawing it out or writing it out, you are totally in the present with it. And that's the gift. It's just, draw sticks.
Become an artist. It's true. Yeah. Even Sid the cat had to applaud on that, and he couldn't even hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, draw it out. Because once you draw it out, you draw it out of yourself.
Yeah.
It's just so simple. There's nothing complex about this. It's a kid with a Crayola.
That's right.
And ask your kid to draw it out. And quite frankly, that's what the best brands do. That's what the best commercials do. They make you smile. They touch that inner joy. They make an emotional relevancy. They contact you on an emotional level.
Well, tell people where they can reach you at.
Okay, I'm Paula Brown, and they can reach me at Chilightful. That's the name of my business. It's Chightful, Lightful. So I'm Paula at Chilightful.com. My sites are Chilightful.com and picturestorming.com. And that's where I'm at. And on Chilightful, they can download a nifty little PDF for free.
Thank you for helping people with this particular way in to make our lives a little better. And
yes, and I really appreciate what you do. You make people realize how beautiful they are. And I thank you for your beautiful soul and making life so much more livable and beautiful for people. So I love it. I love the energy there. It's so cool.
Oh, yay. Thank you. That means a lot coming from you too.